did you do that? How did you do that?
Welcome back everyone to another ESO build video. Today, yes, the almost Immortal Warrior is back and harder than ever. He is fully updated for the Morrowind patch and he's going to perform really well. Basically, if you've been following this build since November last year, you'll know that I've been using this particular type of tank, the health tank specifically, focusing on his own sustain for a very long time. And if you're up to date with the patch notes, which I will explain anyway, Morrowind has buffed this type of tank quite considerably. Now we'll look at the stats first of all, just to remind yourselves, or just to show a few of you what we have. We'll pop a potion as well. We're sitting on almost 47k health, 10k stam, nearly 10k magicka, so it's quite low, and 2.7k magicka recovery with decent resist, like not far off of cap, which you can get a little higher if you go reinforced, but we'll get to all that stuff later. 64 points into health, which can change if you prefer. Stage 4 Vampire. Atronach Munderstone for the magicka recovery. And this is basically how it works. The lower the stam, obviously, the less you used to get from Igneous Shields. Now that's not the case. It used to be based on a 5% back of what you had. So 10k health wasn't a lot. Not a lot at all. Now you get a flat. We'll skip some of the skills a little bit, but I'll just show in the passive so you can see. You get a flat 990. So before we'd get well under 1,000. Now we get quite close to 1,000 every time we press this skill. So our stamina can be up by that. The other way to sustain, obviously, is to heavy attack. Now for the longest time, I've been heavy attacking my arse off to get my sustain back and blocking at the right times. Most tanks haven't been doing this. Now they have to because of the Morrowind patch. So if you've been doing this already, like I said, this will be easy for you. However, instead of holding block, like I said, you will be doing this a lot and keeping your buffs up. Now how this works is very simple. And what I'll do is I'll go through the skills first of all so that this makes a lot more sense. And then it will kind of intertwine. You'll see where I'm going with it. And then I'll give you a demonstration as well. Now, all of these pieces, the gear and everything, if you're not already familiar with it, are on for a very good reason, and I'll go over them, but we'll start off with the skills now that you've seen the stats. First of all, goes without saying, Igneous Shield. This is a Dragon Knight, of course, and it's an Orc. Igneous Shield. You pop this shield, gives you a massive health shield based on your max health. As you can see, your own damage shield absorbs 100% additional damage. That's actually been buffed to 200%, although the way they've done the maths now, it actually amounts to about the same. So we've got an almost 8k shield, but it's stronger for you. As you can see, 100% of your own shield. So you get the best part of around 16k for that. The more health you have, the bigger the shield is. And of course, this shields other people as well. Now, with the recent release of the patch notes, I think 3.0.7, this is now 50% less effective to the group. However, it is still bloody strong. So you put this on, 6 members, you included, get shielded. That's damage mitigation, whichever way you want to put it. So that's very strong. They did upset equilibrium, which in my opinion is a good thing. We'll go down to major skilled passive skills. Basically, you sacrifice your health for your magicka. So you can do this more often. Oops. You can do this more often because you can just spam your magic back. What they've done is they've made it so that if you do use that skill, your damage shields and your heals will still work, but they'll be 50% less effective. So they've made it so that if you do use that skill, then do this. You just made your group weaker because you weakened the damage shield. So don't use it. This is absolutely fine on its own, but you mix that with equilibrium, you just selfishly upset your group. So there's a little tip for you, don't use that. The way we do fix that is magicka recovery, and again, after I get to the skills, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to stay on top of it and how to make the most out of it. Now, so this is very important. I'll get to the passives about why this is like your strongest skill, but for now, you know it gives you a damage shield, which is very powerful, and it gives your group a damage shield that they wouldn't have had. So very nice. Secondly, Green Dragon Blood. Now this is a heal based on a large percentage of your missing health. So the less health you have, the bigger the heal. And if it crits, it pretty much heals you to full. It's very, very powerful. And while it's on, you increase your stamina recovery by 20% and your health recovery by 20% and your healing received, that's an important one, by 8%. Stamina recovery is no good if you're not blocking, but as you know, or should know, this build doesn't block all the time because it wouldn't work. And now, in Morrowind especially, you can't block all the time because you'll run out of juice. So while your shield is down, your recovery is up, which is very, very nice. Also, you look like this. So if you want that heal and received buff, keep this active. It's not just a heal, it's a buff too. Gives you more incoming heals from your own heals and everybody else's heals as well. This is Pierce Armor from the from the Sword and Board skill line. And it was Puncture originally, but I used Pierce Armor because this not only is a taunt for 15 seconds, but it also reduces their resists for 12 seconds, which is a resist debuff to both physical and to spell reduction. So it's both types of damage, or most types of damage. If you can consider the fact that you'll have stamina and magicka at the same time, this will debuff both at the same time, rather than having the other version which just does the physical. So this is also very, very good. Keep that up all the time. Obviously, you don't want the boss to run off and smack your mates. Absorb Magicka, this is disgusting, really, really powerful. It reduces your block cost by 8%. It also reduces the incoming damage while you're blocking by 8%. And if you put this on, last 20 seconds, if you receive a Magicka projectile in the face, it will absorb it with that shield and heal you for nearly 20% of your max health. 17% specifically, but I'll show you how to buff that. So, if you're getting hit by, for argument's sake, Lord Warden in ICP, Imperial City Prison, and he's throwing his fireballs at you, not fireballs, they're little Hadouken type things. Every time you put this on, he absorbs the shot. Put it on again, absorbs the next shot, and just keeps healing you. You can't die as long as you can spam this. And I'll show you how to do that also in a bit. Bone Shield, this is in the Undaunted skill lines. This shields you, as you can see here. Let's mess with the health bar. Yeah, they stack, sorry. This shields you for 33% of your max health. So, or 32%. 32%, sorry, of your max health. So the more health you have, again, the more health you have, the stronger the shield. But this also can be synergized by your teammates. And anyone that hits that synergy will give a shield to up to 4 people. I think it's 3 and you, or 3 and them. And that will give them a damage shield equal to 65% of their max health. So this is really, really strong. People need to take this bloody synergy. I've seen Bone Shield pop up left, right, and center, and it's just been sitting there, not being touched. Take that synergy. You'll shield your group. Big bonus to that is, here's an Igneous Shield. See, it coats my health bar. Here's a Bone Shield. They stack together. So, one shield with magic, one shield with stamina. You see the resource bars are going off like scales. One down, one up. One down, one up. Now, if you keep this shield on your group, Igneous Shield, and keep a Bone Shield up, and people are capable of taking that synergy, your group have very high reduction to damage. So just be aware of that one. So you can balance these two shields out. You can use one or the other and just make people take synergies, or you can use them both combined. They do stack. This one. This is possibly one of the strongest, if not the strongest, and most underrated ultimates in the entire game. I need one more level in it to make it 7 seconds, but basically you block for free. So, oh, 10k stam's not enough to block with. You don't need to. Look, I block for nothing, and I can still run around full speed. I can still heavy attack to get my stuff back. I can switch bars. I can do what I want. Then it runs out. Now, obviously you can see that that costs a little less than it should, but we'll get to that with the gear sets. 85 ultimate is disgusting. That's really, really cheap, and the quickest and most useful oh shit button there is available. Very, very strong. Block damage, still run around. So you could be 0 stamina. Pop that and just heavy attack from underneath it and get your juice back. It's awesome. So there's your oh shit button. You need that. Also, another good variation of an oh shit button is this one, Ferocious Leap. That's also very cheap. You gain a damage shield equivalent to 112% of your max health. That in the right situation can be very, very strong, especially for knockdown of a bunch of ads and shield all at the same time if you're in trouble. But although that's really strong, I personally prefer this one. Now, the back bar. Volatile armor. This is your main resist buff. Now, there is obviously a warden now that we're aware of, and he has a buff that is the same as that with the resist buffs that gives it to the group. So if you have a warden and he's using that buff, clearly you don't need this. But if you don't, keep this on. Make sure it stays on all the time. As you can see, it lasts the best part of 20 seconds, 19 even. And that will increase your resists. And also, you'll see those spikes that fire out. They can aggro targets. So as long as nobody's hit the targets yet, and you hit them first, they'll run to you. So you can, there's a little trick for you that you can mess with on that. But it's not essential. I mean, overall, it's a resist buff. Heroic Slash. This is important for two reasons. One, for debuffing the boss. It reduces their damage by 15% for 12 seconds. Secondly, if you hit a target with this, you gain you gain one ultimate every second and a half for 9 seconds. So your ulti generation skill, basically. Just make sure you hit something with that every 9 seconds, and your ulti generation is going to improve by quite a bit. And that obviously contributes to our oh shit button, because we can use it more often. In a rage, this is a Undaunted skill. Actually, it's a range taunt. Basically, you can taunt stuff at range. Aim at it just like you would a bow, hit that skill, and he comes running to you. Also, this morph of it, which is in a rage, the magical morph of it, has a 38% chance to have a synergy attached to it. I'm going to hopefully see what that looks like. This is for you DPS guys out there, because a lot of people miss this one, and you really shouldn't. If you have high AoE damage, or even high single target, whatever, you need to be taking this synergy. Let's find something small, because otherwise I'll be there all day. I'm a tank, not a DPS. This dude here. Let me see if I can get it on him. You can. Nope. Come on, don't let me down. That red and yellow shit right there. That stuff there. If you see that on a target, aim at that target, and you'll get a synergy prop come up off in the middle of the screen. Take it. It basically does like a 2 or 3 second animation where there'll be a circular spread on the floor, and then it will explode, and everything inside of it will take a serious amount of damage. I've seen like anywhere between 26 to 32k hits from that synergy. So if you see a target light up like he just did, aim at him with your cursor and take that synergy. That's if you're a DPS. If you're a tank, just make sure whatever you're after is taunted. Fiery Grip. This is pretty standard stuff. It's a chain. Where's something I can chain? Where's a squirrel or something that doesn't take forever to kill? I'll hit him with it. Oh, I killed him. Wounded. Something small. Are you alive? No, you're dead. Oh, I don't want to kill stuff. It takes forever. This isn't a DPS. Okay, basically this. He got stuck. Nice. It's chains. It pulls in the targets to where you are. He should be... No, he's good. So you pull the target in, and that's the perfect combination. That's the next skill as well. Pull it in, root it, and they're with you. You keep them. Give them a taunt each, make sure they don't run away. I don't really have to explain the next skill because you can see me using it, but I will explain anyway. Die. Can't really kill stuff with a tank, sorry. This is Choke and Talons. Reduces their damage they do to you by 15%. Same debuff as this, but it's AoE. Every single one that gets clawed. And clearly stuns them on the spot, or roots them. So you chain them in, then root them, keep them with you, get your magic up, root them again if you have to. Basically, that's how that works. Now, these two skills are interchangeable, but I will get to that in a moment after I've explained the ultimate. The last ultimate is Aggressive Warhorn. For those of you that don't know what this is, it is from PvP, so you have to go and grind a little bit, but it increases your group's health, magicka, and stamina by 10% for 30 seconds, and for almost 10 seconds, it increases all of their crit damage by 15%. So this is a very, very powerful buff for your group. It gives you a lot of resources back. I'll get to that in the passives, but if you're in trouble, of course, there's your oh shit button. But if you've got plenty of ultimate, say for example you're on, I don't know, you've got more than enough to press this, do this instead, because obviously it's going to benefit everyone and you at the same time. Now, the interchangeable skills, these two here, not everything can be clawed, not everything can be taloned. Some fights you might be an off tank, some fights you might be a main tank. It depends on what you're doing. But the two skills I really, really like and I would highly recommend, and you're going to laugh, but I've been using it forever and you'll see why. Now, I have Invigorating Drain, mostly if I'm an off tank, and I have Mist Form as well. Now, Mist Form in the right situation is incredibly powerful because you can get around from one place to another really, really fast. For example, I want this dude over there, and he's an archer. I would taunt him, he won't move. So I just Mist Form over the way over there, get there really, really quickly without sprinting and wasting stamina, and I've just cleared quite a large gap very, very quickly with no real problem. I don't have to, if I sprint, I do this. Get to the other side, I'm out of stamina, I'm half stamina before I even get there. So when you're manipulating archers, for example, you have to pull them out of their range, and Mist Form's a good gap closer, or speed buff if you like, for you to get somewhere quickly without wasting your resources. Also, if you're going through snares or roots or anything like that, it removes them, makes you immune to them, and also it reduces the damage you take by a lot. And I'll show you that in the skills very quickly. Come on, I shouldn't be killing stuff on a tank, because it's not what it's for. 75% reduction to damage and increases your speed. Certain situations, really strong, but it does stop your magicka recovery while you're in Mist Form, so just be aware of that. Doesn't stop your stamina recovery though, so you can manipulate that a little bit. Use this while getting stamina back, which is fun. Some bosses can knock you off your feet, like actual bosses, but all the mini bosses and stuff like that generally can't get through this. War priests and all that kind of stuff, they hit nothing but air when you're in Mist Form. So if you're in deep trouble, you're about to run out of stamina, you got no ultimate ready, and you're getting whacked by a war priest, and you know you're not going to be able to block it, stick this on, he can't do a thing to you. Nothing. So that's really, really nice. I'll show certain situations where that's powerful, but it's a really good utility skill, and that does require a bit of practice. The other skill, and this is ridiculous, especially if you're an off tank. If you're an off tank, keeping up some shields and stuff for the group, or firing in war horns or whatever, you need pretty good ulti generation, and the way to do it is Invigorating Drain. Now what this does, as you can see, does magic damage. Doesn't matter, we're a tank, we don't care about damage, but it restores 23% of your missing health. Just like Dragon Blood, whatever percentage of your health is missing, this will fill a percentage of it back. However, not only is that part really powerful, the next part, every second that this is active, you gain 5 ultimate. So 3 seconds, 15 ultimate. That's ridiculous. Heroic Slash gives you 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. So that's what, 6? Something like that. And you get 1 ultimate a second for doing a light or heavy attack. And then you get 5 ultimate a second for using this. You can build your ultimate stupidly fast. So let's waste it. Also, Igneous Shields is an Earthen Heart skill. There's a passive in there. If you use it once every 6 seconds, you get 3 ulti as well. So ultimate generation is very, very high. Here's an example. Light attack, Igneous, and now we'll Invigorate and Drain. Watch this go up. Bottom right hand corner, ultimate is going up really, really fast. 2 of those. My oh shit button is ready. Boom. Now we'll build it up again really, really fast. All you have to do is spam this when you're off tanking while in between shields, and you can get your ulti up really, really quick. You can get a Warhorn up with proper ulti generation. It's up again in around 30 seconds. So off tank wise, you build real quick. What also contributes to this is the gear, but we'll get there after the passives. And I killed him anyway. But it's really, really fast, and as you just heard, their ulti's ready again. It's really quick. So yeah, your sustain is tricky. You have to figure it out and practice it, but you can permablock in every certain amount of seconds for 7 seconds for free. So this helps. Also, I forgot to mention this. This oh shit button, not only are your blocks free, but your one hand and shield abilities are free also. So when that's active, your taunts cost you nothing. So that's a lot of bonus to sustain. That helps a lot. Okay, very important, passives. Now, obviously you can see we don't use many skills in this tree. In fact, we only use one, which is Fiery Grip, but you have to unlock the ones before. Not all of them, but just have one on your bar while you're leveling up so you can get to this one. It takes quite a while, but once you've got there, level this up as fast as you can and morph it for the one that chains things to you. Obviously, also, once you chain something to you, you actually run faster, but that's certain areas that's helpful, but not necessarily here. Okay, I do get all of these passives because it increases flame damage and snares and all that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily essential for a tank, but if you've got spare points, why not? What have we got here? Draconic power. This is really, really important. Remember I told you this was a buff? Are you kidding me? Oh, God. Sorry, I'm a tank. I'm not supposed to be killing stuff because I can't. And then I get attacked while I'm explaining skills. Perfect. Oh, actually good timing. 3 taunts. Look at my stamina. Taunt, taunt, taunt. Doesn't cost me a bloody thing. Nothing. It's awesome, except for that one because it ran out. Okay, let's get back to this. Iron Skin increases the amount of damage you can block. Goes without saying, you're going to need that. Increases your healing received by 12% while a draconic power is active. That is fucking essential. This here, I told you, the green dragon blood, while it's active, gives you 8% healing received. Okay, plus stamina recovery and health recovery. Health recovery is blah. We don't need to worry about that. We're a vampire. But let's find somewhere safe where I'm not going to get jumped by doggies. I said keep this on, so you get those buffs. You can see them in the buff timer. We'll just confirm what they are. Major endurance, which is your stamina recovery, health recovery, and minor vitality. That's your 8% healing received. So you keep those up, you keep those buffs. However, in the passives, for having that ability turned on, because it's a draconic power ability, you gain a further 12% healing received. We have 20% healing received just for having that turned on. Remember to keep that buff up. It's not just a heal. Then increases your health recovery for each skill of that type slotted. That's irrelevant. Increases your spell resistance. That's very important. We have very high spell resistance as a DK. I'm going to move away from that mammoth before he jumps me. I'll be there all day trying to kill that. Earth and Heart. These are vital. This is a good alternate oh shit button as well. It's a damage shield and basically immortal for 9 seconds, but I prefer Warhorn and a block ulti. So look at that one in your own time if you want. I don't use it. Igneous Shields. This is the skill that we use primarily to shield ourselves and our group. And of course, when you fire it, you do actually get extra healing. You can see that extra healing done for 3 seconds if your shield's still on. If it runs out, it doesn't count. But to get this, obviously you need one of these skills slotted to level up the skill line to get this. It was Obsidian Shield or something to start with, then you morph it to Igneous Shield. This is the most important skill you have. Increases the duration. Yes, you need that passive. When you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 52 health, magicka, and stamina for each ultimate point that it costs. So the more expensive the ultimate, the more resources you get back when you fire it. So your oh shit button up here actually does give you back resources, and so does the Warhorn for pressing it. No other class does that. For using or casting a Earth and Heart ability, like Igneous Shield, because that's Earth and Heart, one of these, just press it, you get these perks. Minor Brutality for you and your group. I think it's up to 6 people in total, including yourself, increasing their weapon damage by 5% for 20 seconds. So that's very, very nice. And if you are in combat, you're in combat, you will generate 3 ultimate every 6 seconds that you fire this off. So not 3 and 3, that doesn't count. You go once, and then in 6 seconds time, if you do it again, you'll get a further 3 ultimate afterwards. So once every 6 seconds, if you fire off an Earth and Heart ability, you'll gain ultimate. And then there's one more. When you cast an Earth and Heart ability, you restore 990 stamina. So let's waste some stamina. And I'll block to stop my stamina recovering. Now if I press Igneous Shields, I have some stamina back. And some more. And some more. And some more. All these passives together are very, very strong. Earth and Heart is your strongest skill line that you must max out as soon as possible. This shield, just pressing it, gives you stamina back, gives your group minor brutality, gives your group a shield, gives you 25% increased heals, gives you ultimate. It's insane. Do not leave home without this skill. Even if they nerfed the damage on the shields, damage reduction on the shields, it doesn't matter. It's still bloody powerful. Now, Sword and Board, one-handed shield, very simple. Taunt and everything we've already gone over. you want to make sure you get all of these passives, every single one of them. They are all just as valid as the other skills, but these, you need all of them. Reduces stamina cost of the abilities you're using from that skill line, increases weapon damage and reduction to block. All these kind of things, need to get them all. Medium armor, light armor, we're not using any of these, so don't worry about them. Heavy armor, every single one. Get every single one. Increases health, health recovery, healing received. This one at the end, incidentally, healing received 8%. And increases the amount of stamina you get back from a heavy attack. That one is very, very strong. 8% healing received. Alongside this, which is currently 20%, you're sitting at a comfy 20% healing received right now. You press Igneous Shields, that healing received, and now your Major Mending, which is 25% healing done. That heal is massive. Those all stack. Also, just to confirm that this increases your heals, when you fire it, check your skills. This was 37, now it's 46%. It's stronger. Now also if you fire it here, this was 17, it's now 21%. So Igneous first, heal second, always, if you've got enough magicka, and hopefully with this setup you will have. More passives, more passives. None of these, none of these, none of these. Vampire, max this out. Vampire is god mode for a tank. The lower your health, the less damage you take. Recovery, obviously very important. Just for being a vampire, you get these 2 recovery bonuses. And this is the big one, Undeath. When you go below 50% health, you take up to 33% of your less damage. The lower your health, the more damage reduction you receive. That's really, really strong, obviously, looking at it, but obviously the more health you have, the more you can have reduction to damage. So if you're a 30k tank, that reduction to damage kicks in at around 15k. If you're a 60k tank, that damage reduction starts kicking in at around 30k. More health you have, the more effective this passive is. It's very, very powerful. Fighters Guild. This is Ring of Protection. I have this sometimes on the back bar. We'll show what it does. This on the floor. Situational. Really tough fights. Put this on the ground if you can afford it. And anyone inside of here has a reduction to damage, including you, by 8%. And increases their stam recovery and all that kind of stuff. But I don't use it very often, but you can if you prefer to use it. Although, don't put it there. Don't take your heel off for it. Just ding it on the back bar somewhere. More passives. So Vampire, Recovery and Undeath are essential. Fighters Guild, make sure you get this one here, because obviously when undead or Daedra or werewolves are killed, you get more ultimate. Not necessarily just from you killing it, but inside your group. Undaunted, max these out as soon as possible. You take a synergy, you get 4% of all resources back. And this increases your max health, magic and stamina by 2% for each type of armor worn, light, medium and heavy. Now of course we're only wearing heavy because I want to go full tank, so we get 2% to all resources. So technically we're 4% down on health, aren't we? But we're not, because if you look at the heavy armor passives, you get 2% per piece of heavy armor worn, 14%. Now if we were wearing 5 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light, we'd have a 10% bonus there, and then we'd get 4% from Undaunted. But we're using 7 heavy, so that 4% comes out of Undaunted and goes into here. So we're exactly the same as we would be. The only thing we're short on is resources, and I really don't need 2% extra on 10k. It's nothing. So I'll take the extra resists from the heavy armor, and I'm happy. Assault and support, don't worry about these passives. Unless, of course, you're wearing one of these skills, which I'm not, and then you would want to get this skill here to increase your recovery. But I don't use it. I'm an orc, increasing my max health and stamina. Healing received, 5%. That stacks with the further 28% plus the 25% healing done. They all stack up. This goes on top of that. And increases your melee damage and your sprint speed, but that's not relevant. The fact is you have high health and stamina, or decent health and stamina. Bonuses, and this one is the one I have it for, is the healing received. You can use any other race if you like, but I picked it specifically for stacking as much healing received as possible, and when I come to the set you'll see why. Last passive, medicinal use. I do have a video on my channel about how to level up alchemy really fast. Do that. You want to make sure that your crafted pots or any pots last 30% longer, so you can have a potion that lasts longer than its cooldown. That's essential, because you're going to be using potions like mad, and you want to make sure you can get the most effectiveness out of them as possible. The rest, I don't use anything. Okay, now let's have a look. Now we're going to go into the armor, the sets, and this is very, very important for pretty much everything that we've done so far. Inventory. We're using 5-piece leeching, just like we were before. If you look at these stats, you'll see that it gives you max health, which is obviously nice because we want loads of health. 4% healing received, 4% healing received. Healing taken, whatever. It's your heals or other people's heals. So there's 8% there. And that, yes, stacks with the 5% from the orc, from the 8% from the dragon blood, from the 12% from having dragon blood on, from the 25% healing done from if you have igneous on, and there's a further 8% in the passives for heavy armor. They all stack. So your incoming heals from you or somebody else are bloody massive. So this is for the purpose for those traits there, why we want this set on, but the biggest one is this at the end. 8% chance to summon a leech and poison cloud under the attacker, deals 1.2k damage. That's irrelevant. Doesn't matter how much damage it does really, because we don't do damage. In a 4-meter radius every 1 second for 5 seconds, but it heals you for 100% of the damage caused. Now, there's only one way to describe how this works, and that's to show you. I need to take some damage, so I'm not going to put any resist buffs on, and hopefully these are going to hurt. They're probably not. And the poison just popped underneath them, and I can't die. And that stacks with healing received. So the higher my healing received, the stronger those heals are. And that one we're going to get to. Obviously, you can see they're dying as well, but the damage is not important. What's important is the fact that it procs quite a lot, and when it does, you can't die. The heals, I will show you in a moment how strong they get. I'll go into a dungeon and smack stuff, or I'll just go into a trial or something and get loads of mobs on me. But 5-piece leeching. So we use the sword in defending. This sword doesn't always drop, but the trait is always perfect. This is a named weapon. It drops from Lord Warden in Imperial City Prison, and it always drops in defending if you get this specific version of it. I've seen it drop 2 or 3 times in the same dungeon, and I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 runs and not setting it at all, but that's where it comes from. Second set is 5 pieces of the, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this, the Akaviri Dragon Guard. Since November last year, I've still been using this, and this contributes to a lot of the way this is built. Magical recovery, essential. We need magical recovery to spam our shields. Healing received, healing taken, whatever you want to call it. Yes, again, that stacks with all the rest of the healing received that we have. And then the max health, obviously, to boost our health. And I've already showed you how to, or demonstrated how to gain ultimate quickly. This also contributes because not only do we gain ultimate fast, but our ultimates are 15% cheaper than they should be. So we can spam our stuff quite quickly. Reinforced shield, of course, on the front for the highest resist you can possibly get. Back bar, haven't golded this one, but again, this isn't a unique item, so you can have 2 of them. So Warden's Courage on both bars. Reinforced Dragon of the Shield on the front, should have one on the back as well, but unfortunately I've got a Sturdy, which isn't too bad. It just means I reduced the cost of block and on my back bar, which is okay. So Sword and Board, 1 Leeching, 1 Dragon. This is awesome. Malabeth Scourge, or however Scourges, or I don't know how you pronounce that. Malabeth, doesn't matter. This adds max health, and when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to create a beam that steals blah blah health for 4 seconds. Not interested in the damage. While the beam holds, you gain major vitality, increasing your healing received. Excuse me, your healing received for the duration of the beam, basically. If it breaks outside the range, then obviously you can't do anything. It disappears, but stay in range. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. So once every 6 seconds, for 4 seconds, you can get 30% healing received. And if you've been listening already, we have shit tons of healing received, and this just boosted the hell out of it. So 30% here, 8% heavy armor passives, 8% for having dragon blood on, 12% for having dragon blood on, 12% from our gear, 5% for being an orc, and a further 30% here, plus 25% extra healing done. Your leeching counts as healing done. We have massive heals. all the pieces I'm using are in Divines except for the shoulder. I'm going to gold that because I like the reinforced, actually. I like the extra resists. But everything's in Divines just to pump up that Magicka recovery. But if you're not comfortable with that, of course, you can go reinforced and sturdy or whatever traits you actually prefer. But for me, I pumped as much into Magicka recovery as possible with the Atronach Munda Stone. So I want to get all these Divines shinies. But everything is in Divines. Get whatever you can. Dragon Jewelry, you can get that gold from Cyrodiil if you're lucky. If it's on the weekend vendor, but if not, it comes in purple and it drops in East March. The Leechin drops in Imperial City Prison from just about everything. Boss wise, it's just luck of the draw whether you get the right pieces or not. Now I'm going to show you how effective these two sets are alongside Malabeth inside a dungeon situation, and you can then make your own mind up as to whether it's strong enough or not. Typical one I always go to, Banished Cells. We'll go Banished Cells first of all, and then I'll just jump into Hellra. Actually, forget it, we're going to jump into Hellra. Favourite spot. And just run into loads of enemies and see if they can kill me. Now the point of this obviously isn't just to be unkillable for the sake of being unkillable. This does offer group support as well. Your Warhorn does, if you can fire it, if you have enough ultimate. Your Igneous Shields and your Bone Shields, because of how much resource gain you're going to have, means that you can support the group pretty much all the time. Now previously people thought that support meant increase their damage, but in my opinion support means don't let your group die, and you can shield them and you can keep hold of the boss and you can't die very easily, so all of that kind of works together. Now I said this in November and I'll say it now, and this is with current patch notes in place as well, and my opinion still stays: block when you have to, not because you can. What I mean by that is don't block just because you can press this button. Block when you need to block. So if it's not a heavy attack, don't block it. If it is, get your shield up quick. Because otherwise you're just wasting all your resources sitting here, everything's bouncing off your shield, going ting 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 out of juice. Don't do that. While you're not shielding, heavy attack and shield your group. Get your resources back, keep people up, then block the big stuff, then carry on. It's very simple. What will take practice is understanding each boss individually, because now you are playing as an active tank, not a block tank. So let's get to the end here. Yeah, I got lucky with a camel. Don't ask me what the hell happened to my RNG. It's normally awful. On PC, I opened up a crate, got a camel. PlayStation, opened up a crate, got a camel. Don't like the camel normally, but the Dwemer one is awesome. And he has a headlight, which everybody likes. In fact, we'll take this opportunity to show off one of the new mounts, which I think is still available for the next couple of days. So if you haven't got one, I would recommend getting one because they are hilarious. This little dude here, and he runs really, really fast. But anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to sustain, how to keep your ultimate up, how to keep your group up, and how to basically tank for a very long period of time without running out of juice, despite the fact we don't hardly have any. This is important for this tank and also current tanks that are available. Even my easy mode tank, I fight the same way, and that's the trick. I'm not holding block, I'm fighting the targets. Now, oh, one more thing. Actually, forget it. I'll show you the potions in a moment. There's a reason they're crit pots. Let's get these attention. Okay, now we've got their attention. I'm not blocking because I don't need to. I will on a heavy attack. There you go, you heard that? He bounced off over there. That one on the right, he was heavy attacking me. Just block it once, done. Now, keep your stamina up by doing this. Heavy attack and Igneous Shield. Both of them give you back stamina. They can't get through my shield. And I'm getting stamina back all the time. A whole block, I'm going to run out. So, do it at the right time. Keep an eye on those heavy attacks that come in. You can keep stamina up. I can keep shield up for the group. I should buff, really. Not a very good demonstration. That's separate. Yes, I'm a vampire. Yes, I'm in fire. Doesn't matter, no. Bone shield as well. You can mix them up. Heavy attack coming there. Block him. You'll notice I'm barely blocking, because I only block when the big stuff comes in. And then you have this. Now everything's blocked, and I can taunt him, I can taunt him, I can taunt him. Block the heavy attack there. Rebuff. Very, very, very simple. And because the Legion is firing off all the time, alongside Malabeth, and alongside my Igneous Shields, all my healing received are boosted to shit. And that poison over there at the back on those archers, that's healing me. Doesn't matter if it's a ranged target or not. See those lights? Pum, pum, pum. Heal, heal, heal. It's really, really strong. Now, let's go down a little bit. Keep my resist buff up, obviously, and my heal. I'm going to show you how effective Dragon Blood is alongside Igneous Shields. Boom! That's a decent heal. Wasn't a crit. I don't even need to heal now because the Legion's doing it for me. I need to get a crit out of this. Yeah, I can't. I'm not even pressing any buttons. The Legion's just keeping me up. Yeah, of course it's proc based, but it's nice. Here we go, here we go, here we go. How low can we go? I can't go low enough to put a heal on because the freaking set's healing me anyway. Keep my buff on. Go on, down. I can't because it's gone off again. I can't even show you how strong Dragon Blood is. Basically, Dragon Blood with Igneous Shields on gives you almost 50% here, 50% back of your missing health. So if you're down to 1%, you get 50% of what's missing. But if you crit it, you will just fill your bar to full. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we go. Fire. That wasn't a crit. Come on, give me a crit. And now the Legion's just fired off again. Block him. I can't even give you an example. You're gonna have to take my word for it. Oh dear. Anyway, you get the idea. Block the big stuff, not the rest. And then heavy attack, back your stamina. That's very important. Heavy attack, shield. Heavy attack, your other shield. Heavy attack, this shield. Keep your buffs up. Looks a little more complicated than it is, but believe me, the sets and the combination of everything combined, like all together, does a lot of the work for you. You just have to keep a manage on your sustain. Now we're gonna have to jump off the cliff because they're not going to be able to kill me, and then I'll explain the Magicka recovery and the sustain in a little bit more depth. Way shrine there. Incidentally, if you feel sorry for the tank, I'll take 1k in the post for the repairs. I don't mind. I'm joking. Right. Now, as you can see, the Magicka recovery is 2.3, almost 2. Well, no, it's 2.3k. So it's very, very high. So you can this heavy attack for that gap when you're recovering, shield again and again, and you're pretty much not going to run out. And if you do, it doesn't matter because you get it back so fast. Now, what you can also do is what we will be doing is pop a potion. Now that potion gives us a bonus to extra recovery, so we're at 2.7 now, so our recovery's up a lot. Heavy attack shield, and you can heal. It's going to be ready straight away. Boom, have a heal. Heavy attack, other shield if you haven't got enough juice left, and then fire the other one. See, bone shield wastes your stamina, ignis shield gives you stamina back, so you can balance them out. But make sure you're supporting your group above all, because you've got so much ability to mitigate damage based on your resists and the amount that you heal off the target doing damage to you. You have that freedom to keep your guard down unless you need it to be up. With that, that gives you the freedom to do this and heavy attack and all that kind of shiny stuff without any fear of taking a one shot. So that's very, very important. Now the potions and the food are important, and I'm going to go over those quickly before we wrap this up and go to the champion points. Now the food, oops, wrong one. The food is this, and I can't pronounce it, so I won't even try. 5,000 max health and 457 Magicka recovery. This is a Hrothgar food. Now that's very, very strong for high magic recovery. Now if you're comfortable with your Magicka recovery being a little bit lower, you can actually have more health and more stamina, so you can use this instead, which is just max health, max stam food, and this will push your health over 47.5k and your stamina to 15.6, which is more than enough. Now of course your Magicka recovery suffered a little there, but if you pop a potion you're still sitting at a healthy 2k, so you have to relax a little bit on the shields, but you've got a lot more stamina, so you can pop an extra bone shield maybe, or you can block a little bit more than you would normally block. So it's entirely up to you which food you use. Honestly, I pretty much use the mag recovery food unless I'm on the warrior or the axes in AA. Incidentally, in AA, if you pop this, they will not knock you over if you're in trouble, the axes. And also this, you're blocking the axes for free and retaunting them for free, and it's easy mode. So you can't run out of juice. Block the big ones, not the rest. I actually fight the axes, I heavy attack them, which takes a bit of practice, but it works. Also, the potion, this is very important. Now, you can use tripods if you like. It gives you magicka, stam recovery, health recovery. You've got health recovery on your dragon blood. You've got stamina recovery on your dragon blood. So you don't need those 2 perks. But the magicka recovery you do get, and of course it fills all 3 resource bars by quite a lot. So that's very, very powerful potion and quite high in demand for tanks. So that's very, very good. You can use a basic mag pot just to keep your magicka up in your recovery, but what I would recommend is this. It's a spell crit pot. It doesn't give you extra spell damage, but it gives you crit, it gives you a heal, and it gives you magic back and increases your magicka recovery. Now the reason I use this one is because it then puts my crit to a nice 32k. It's not massive, but it's much, much more than it was, and that means that my dragon blood is more likely to crit because it's spell based. So I use those, but you can use whichever one you like. For me, I use those, but keep a potion up all the time to keep your magicka recovery high, because this all is magic and so is this, and you kind of, while that's running out, keep your block up or whatever, and then just fill it back up again. Your magicka recovery is what's key. If you have loads of max magic, you're just going to run out and then you're stuffed. But if you have high magicka recovery, it doesn't matter if you run out, it's coming back real quick. So that's the trade-off. Now, I didn't mention in the gear, but how we get high magicka recovery is obviously magicka recovery on all the jewelry, and magicka recovery is on the dragon set as well. So we've got quite a lot of bonuses. We've actually got 4 bonuses to magicka recovery. Now for the CPs. Where are we? This is not set in stone, but this is what I'm comfortable with so far in the Morrowind patch. Yes, there are jump points, so if you're very familiar with those, you can tweak them as much as you like, but this is where I've put my points so far. 30 into Warlord. Now before, we would put 100 in one skill, 100 in another, and we'd run out. Now that the CPs are more front-loaded, we can position them a little better, and we can take advantage of skills lines or skill places and whatever you want to call them that we couldn't before. So I put 30 in here. The stamina's low. I don't want to waste all my stamina breaking. I want it to cost less. So this is very, very nice in there. 75 in tenacity gives us 14% increase to what we restore on a heavy attack. And as you saw, we heavy attack our asses off. So we need that. Magicka recovery. Our magicka recovery is very, very high. 14% increase to that. Very nice. Don't bother with the final 25 points and make that 100 because you'll only get 1% on both of these. You don't want to waste 25 points for 1%. Hence why there's 30 here. Yeah, I'll put an extra 5 in, but my wasted points now contribute to my break free. And my wasted points here now contribute to my block cost reduction. So when I do block, it costs me less. Now, in the red tree, obviously, the champion points have been more front-loaded, so the more you use, the less effective they are. So you don't want to go too high on your points. These aren't set in stone, and yes, there's jump points, like I said, but this is where I've been comfortable with them so far, and that is to obviously not waste too many points. But 60 to 65 in either of these is absolutely fine. 60 I'm quite comfortable with, so even those out, and put 30 into thick skin to reduce the amount of dot damage you receive. Then with the spare points, which you would normally pump into these all the way to max, which we don't do anymore, I've put some into Ironclad to lessen the impact of single target hits, mostly heavy attacks, that kind of stuff, so you don't get hit anywhere near as hard as you used to, because this passive was changed. And then I always put 10 into here, just to make sure that I have increased healing received. Yes, that stacks with everything else that we've talked about. And also get this passive here. Occasionally, you will be resin people because people die beside you, and you take a lot less damage while you're doing so. Then I put 20 points into Bastion. You can put more in here because this is heavily front-loaded if you've got the points to spare. And this will increase your Igneous shields, your Bone shields, your Take Flight variant, which is Ferocious Leap, if you use that, or Magma Shell, whichever. This increases all of those. So that's where I've put those. This one is very, very simple, and I don't really have many excuses for this. Bigger heals. or healing done. We have a shit ton of healing received. It's ridiculous. This contributes towards that. Crit heals. 25% increase to crit heals and strikes, but heals primarily. Our Dragon Blood is now increased to its maximum amount. Yeah, of course, there is diminished returns here, but I'm not going to use any of these as a tank because I don't do DPS and I don't really want any of these passives. Like, interrupt an enemy physical. Nope, don't need that. Now, I've got 10 points in here just because I've got 10 points left. Just increases my heavy attack damage. That's useless, so I don't do much damage. But the points I get from that is retaliation. When you block your next light on... sorry, when you block a heavy attack, your next light attack used within 7 seconds is increased by 30%. Whoopie-doo. Stuff expert, don't need it. Riposte. When I block, I have a 15% chance to do damage to the enemy. 2k, really? I don't need it. So, all those useless points that is not going to benefit me enough to waste time in there. Maximum heal, maximum crit. Ding some in any of these just to get rid of the last 10 points. Now, remember, the higher the health, the more effective this is, the more effective this is, and this, and this, and everything we use. And Invigorate and Drain. Everything is boosted off of our max health. Just make sure that you can manage your sustain with heavies, with shields, and protect your group. For God's sake, the one thing that I see a lot of tanks doing is just doing this, holding it forever, and doing nothing else. These should be protecting your group. This should be protecting your group. Keep those up. And if you run out of juice, heavy. The one thing, the role that you are, is to keep that boss off the group. Not just to hold this and tell everyone else to stay alive. You can contribute to their survivability with Ignis shields. Don't be selfish and use equilibrium and diminish your shields. You want them as strong as you can get them. So if you can get more than 47k health, then by all means do so. But this particular setup isn't changing just because all the passive bonuses in these skill sets, or sorry, armor sets, work so well together. So it's really tough. Like this particular tank up against many 60 to 70k tanks will outperform in most cases. And as far as dungeons are concerned, do not worry, you are always going to be the last to die if anyone else dies, because the boss can't kill you generally unless it's a straight out one shot that you can do nothing about. So hopefully that wasn't too boring. Hopefully that raises some awareness to how you you can play this particular build and roll, and also how you can sustain as a health tank as exactly the same as we always have done before, except you get more stuff back now. So thank you, Morrowind, you just buffed the tanks. Now this is the second build for Morrowind, actually, the update, but all the rest of them are coming. There's a Mag DK, there's a Stam Sork, Stam DK, there's two of those actually. There's a Easy Mode tank as well, that one's coming. I know a lot of you have been using that. You've already got the Sork one, so have some fun with that one too. There's a Templar and loads more. I'm going to be doing a lot more regular streams now that I've got my equipment up and running, and obviously that we've got a lot more subscribers now to keep you guys in the loop and obviously see how things are going. But if you're not a subscriber already, please do hit that button. It is free. Thank you everyone who's following so far, and especially also to the guys that have recently joined the Patreon page, getting early access for your monthly contributions. If you're not familiar with what that is, it is in the description. You can go check that out. And also check out the website, XynodeGaming.com, and of course the Facebook page if you get some time. Once again, thank you all very much for watching, and goodbye.